The power of surrender. Human beings are trapped in an infinitely complex world. You are just helpless to alter your unfavorable environment. Suddenly, a person gets caught unaware by disasters such as earthquakes, near fatal accidents, immense financial loss, incurable diseases, and other forms of calamities. Furthermore, you have no conscious understanding of the deep rooted negative thoughts lurking in your subconscious mind. Sometimes you see the presence of predominant evil in your surroundings. At other times, you cannot find a proper sense in your life situation. Your mind is not sufficiently developed to make out the head or tail of your life situations. In such circumstances, the best strategy for you is to accept things as they are with equanimity. Be convinced that a mysterious higher power is looking after the things of the world in its own ways. The inexorable cosmic laws oversee all the happenings. There are innumerable causes for any accident or incident to happen. Your immediate duty is not to look into these causes, which are a form of pastime of the mind, but to surrender. You must flow with life without any resistance. Then you will find a better escape route to freedom automatically. The higher power will assist you in this great accomplishment. If a higher power is the doer, who is responsible for all the evil acts? This is an example of philosophical dichotomy inherent in your dualistic mind that thinks in terms of the pairs of opposites, such as good and bad, joy and suffering. It cannot be satisfactorily resolved within the level of the intellect because the intellect can think only in terms of duality. But your expanded awareness of higher consciousness has a suitable answer which comes to you as spiritual insights through higher order intuition. As a soul and as a part of the source, you have free will. You are free to choose your thoughts. Once you choose a set of thoughts, you have to reap the resultant consequences. A higher power provides you with the necessary consequences. Remember that nothing can happen outside the workings of the cosmic laws. Furthermore, you should have deep faith in the teachings of a spiritual master about the non-existence of ego in reality. Your ego has merely an apparent existence in the relative world of the senses when you forget your true nature. Actually, the ego decides and identifies the outside facts as good and evil depending on its thought impressions. In reality, things are as they are. There is no arbitrary conception of good and evil from the standpoint of absolute awareness. This should be the enlightened awareness about the ways of life. Faith is very powerful force to heal your psychological wounds. Faith is simply the conviction of a positive ideal and it is always constructive. An ordinary human mind is like a tiny worm crawling on the surface of the earth. It has no power to understand why things happen in certain ways in the larger scheme of nature. Your faith should be like that of a child who believes in what its mother says. If spiritual faith is firmly implanted in your subconscious mind, the battle of life is already half won. Awakening of faith is an essential step on a spiritual journey. Faith acts like a magnetic power to pull the body-identified ego upward toward your inner self. Faith in divine power does wonders for your psychology. Often it works like a medicine in curing certain emotional troubles. That is why it is said that if an aspirant has a tiny amount of faith, they can move even a mountain. Like a chaste wife who has full faith in her husband and a patient in the doctor, you should have developed faith in authentic spiritual teachings by enlightened masters. Once faith is firmly implanted within you about your innate divinity, you will move peacefully until you get anchored at your spiritual core for good. It is like it's like flowing downstream in a river without any effort. Trust the intrinsic goodness of life. Have faith in the intrinsic goodness of life in all its varieties of manifestations. Evil is merely temporary, a thin outer covering. There is in fact no evil but only a relatively lower order of goodness. A divine intelligence guides this world which can be incomprehensible to a limited mind. Faith helps you to surrender to the ways of nature, however weird it may appear. Unconditional surrender to a higher power brings enormous peace to a restless mind. The surrender presupposes a belief that the existence of evil in human nature is simply a passing phase. Every human being is destined to attain enlightenment in due course. There is divinity hidden within every individual, waiting for the right opportunity to unfold. In fact, at a higher state of consciousness, you will experience that everything in existence is holy and divine.